Good morning, everyone. So, today we are for the last lecture that is on media tracking of human rights violations. So, this one is actually it's not like part of like journalism, like we mostly do this, but this is like mostly done by these NGOs and these human rights groups who are like working on this human rights. So we may think that like whatever we are like reporting in media, it may not be like kind of unnoticed and nobody is seeing that, nobody reading that. But there are people who are tracking like what are the news and this one news and like opinions regarding this human rights violations that is like being reported in the media. Okay, so they usually like keep a track of like what's happening there, and from that they are also like kind of using it for like what you call like mitigate the effects of this human rights violations also. So how to like prevent, so how this these things are like happening and all. Okay, for example, I'll give you one thing like in US actually in 2020 I guess. So this many men they are by like hit by this stone pellets by the police. Okay, so it was like kind of captured in the CCTV camera, right? So like so many places, like it was not in one place, like 6 or 7 places it got like recorded, and later on they use those evidence like to see like how this police are like kind of like controlling anyone like they like suspect, right? How they are like treating the suspects and how they are like affecting it all. So here nowadays in India, even in India like abroad, there is this media is like everywhere, right? So like you can see that it's not only like social media, television, newspaper, magazines, but it's also like all other technology like CCTV camera or like whatever, and even people who are like kind of recording like whatever happens in their like vicinity. So everything like kind of before like before 10 years or 20 years, like if something happens we may not know because like people didn't have that kind of like technology in their hands, but now it's very easy for them to record and like immediately respond. So you know that when this Manipur thing happened also, there was this internet shutdown was there, right? Internet blackout. That's what like most of the governments they are like kind of engaging in this internet shutdown so that they can control people like sharing videos like online and everything, right? And even though the government's what you call like justification is that we are like trying to control the misinformation and disinformation, but it's also in a way like hurting that particular community, like they couldn't like share those videos also, right? So that's what like last year there was this one video suddenly got viral, and after that only it got like noticed by like across the country, and also it has become a global issue, right? So that's the thing. So the media has the power, right? So it's not only like by the journalist but also by common man, like whoever, like even you are there and you are witnessing some like police or like doing harassing a victim or like anything, you can just like record it and then you can like post it, right? So that can, so we are thinking that this kind of videos who will be watching, we will be thinking that okay, some people may be like consuming that and make it a issue and it will be there. But there are this human rights organizations, they have this they also have a kind of library, so they will be keep tracking of like whatever the newspapers like report also that they will like cut down those things and they will keep it kind of different. For example, under domestic violence what are the things are happening, so under caste violence what are happening, and then police brutality what are happening, so they will be keeping those cuttings and then they will be like keeping it, okay? And then they will like try to see like how these things are happening and what are the patterns are there, and how the victim and perpetrators are like engaged in these acts and who are all involved and everything. So from this newspaper cuttings itself they will like try to analyze it and they will like make a report out of it, okay? So that's what they are doing. So that's what like we say that media has the power to reach out to millions, right? And then the people will be like using it again whenever there is some human rights violation or something else, they'll always like try to form a kind of commission, right? So commissions under like retired judge or like anyone else, and then they'll be like kind of seeing like what happened. So those people also will always like look into the media reports. If the media reports are like kind of stereotyped and all, but anyway for them it's like reported in the media, so that is the fact and that is the truth, right? So they will go with that also. I will give you one example that in yesterday we were talking about that Tamarabani massacre, that 44 tea estate like workers, they got, they jumped into the river and then they got like killed, right? So in that report, like there was this one commission was formed under like retired judge, his like name is Mohan. It was called as Mohan Commission. So they have like filed a commission report like after like talking to people and everything. So the commission report itself starts with the media reports only. So in the media reports, they say that people died because of drowning in the river, right? So they are like taking as it is, like okay, they won't kind of interpret or something else, but they will just go with like what the media reports also. So sometimes if the media reports are wrong also, it will be like kind of carried over also. So that is also one thing. But if it is like reported like rightly, it will also get noticed. Okay, so that's what these people like always like keep tracking of whatever like it's being reported in the media and available in the media. So like this one like definition of like media tracking is the kind of tracking like what are the news regarding this human rights violations that's being like reported in the media, right? And then like keeping note of it and then like analyzing it and then seeing the pattern and then reporting it. That's what called like media tracking. So what is the purpose of like doing this media tracking? One is like importance of like documentation. They are like documenting that certain violations has already happened and they are like keeping track of those things. And documentation is very important because like document it can be like kind of used as an evidence, right? And again information gathering. So they are also kind of collect information about human rights abuses from radio, television, print, and etc. And also they will be like do the pattern tracking, like track patterns and new developments. For example, if it is about like women cyber stalking, right? So like even in UK and other places, there are like so many cases of like cyber stalking used to be happening. So they will be like keep on following that women, and then they later on she may also get killed, right? Then after that only they'll say that this one is a kind of evidence, like kind of cyber tracking. So this kind of like many cases it have been like reported in the media, and they will like see so how this perpetrator or the abuser is like following the women and what are the ways they are using it, and from that also they will analyze it and then they will like see. So later on it might also help to prevent those kind of crimes also, right? So from this case studies they are also learning, and from that like they are like kind of putting up a recommendation, right? So that's what this media tracking is very important. And then they also like media analysis also, they will also see how the media reported that one, right? So that is also one important way, like whether they have reported it properly, whether they have misrepresented or like stereotype, how they have done that one also they will see. And then fact finding. So like whenever certain issue happen, they also do this fact finding, this one. Okay, so many of these human rights group and activists, they will like go to that particular place. And even for Manipur also, I think like from the press council of India also, they went there and they did a fact finding and then they reported about that one. Likewise, like human rights association, like groups also, they'll go there and they'll talk to people and then they'll do it. Okay, so for that also they will like use this media tracking, like they will be like seeing like how the news is being reported, what kind of news has been reported, right? And what are the issues, what are the challenges, everything they will like get it from that one. Okay, so this one like, so what is like it's also kind of trying to develop an understanding of public perception and misperceptions also. And then they are also like kind of later on after like doing this documentation and see the pattern tracking and also seeing the media analysis, like how they have reported, right? And then they will like try to like understand like what was the public perception, like how they are like reacting it. For example, it's in social media. So for this particular video, like how people have like reacted to it, what kind of comments they have got, right? And what are their like ideas, like what they are saying, even if there is any rape case, right? Then how they are all like reacting to that particular incident also. Those things they will like get to know that public perception, what they are like viewing about that particular issue. And after that they will like develop the advocacy, right? Like media advocacy. So they will like try to advocate that issue and they will try to fight for that one. So that's what like the media tracking, but it's mostly done by this social workers and then human rights activists, and like there are many NGOs meant for this human rights, right? Violations. They are also be like doing this one. So the purpose, like it's also kind of how they are like doing it now. The technology is also helping a lot to do this media tracking. So one is that digital open source information. So whatever the social media content that is like available online, they are like using that one. So you may think that okay, I'm just commenting and what that comment has a value, right? Who is going to read that value comment, right? But it might be like read by someone who is like doing research about that when are going to do advocacy about that issue also. So that's what even every voice like matters, right? So we may think that like it's just kind of time pass or like waste of time like reporting like commenting on those like long length of this one. Sometimes you can see if some viral video or like some meme like etc regarding that issue got posted, people will be like, other than this meme or this one, the comments are like very interesting. Actually, even in media research also, we are like analyzing the comments now. Actually, like one of my scholar who is working on this online Naga activism. So what he did is like you one interview about a Naga leader and the comments for that YouTube links, no? He has like did the research about that one. He has like extracted all the comments and then he saw the sentiment analysis, right? What was the sentiment of the people, whether it is positive or negative, and how they are like seeing this issue, what are their comments. So that's what. So even comments like matters, right? So likewise here also like they are using this digital open source information like whatever available and then they are tracking it. And then digital reconstruction also. What they do is like online may they try to reconstruct that one. Okay, so they will like give this. Okay, this is the how like certain incidents like happened. They are also trying to reconstruct like using this AI, and then they are trying to give awareness about it also. So that also they are doing it. And again, they are also like using generative artificial intelligence like Chat GPT and others for identifying the relevant online information analysis and reporting, right? So that also they do. So they will be like they are giving like certain prompts in this Chat GPT and all, and then they are asking like what are the human rights violation issues regarding this domestic violence case, particular to this part of India. What are the news has been like reported? Then it will like try to give you all the links. But it is your job to verify it, right? You cannot just go with that one, but you can like use it because nowadays people are using this generative AIs, right? Everywhere, even for research also, PhD research also thesis, we are using that one, like how to like they are imagining like how the chapter has to come, what are the things has to come, like everything they are trying to get. Even sometimes conceptual framework and everything, the structures and all, they are trying to generate using this AI. Okay. And tools, like what are the tools they are like, they are like using this media tracking to document and provide redress for human rights violations and perform reform of laws, policies, and practice. So it's not only they are trying to document and like try to like find solution for these human rights violations, but they are also trying to use those like after this media tracking like whatever they have learned and after analyzing this one, then they are like trying to make it as a policy document for reformation in the laws, policies, and practices. Okay, that one also there. And again, draw the attention of the government to situation where human rights are violated, because sometimes government may not know, right, where it's happening and what's happening. So they also have to like show that one. And again, they also like try to make proposals to the government to put an like end to situations where human rights are violated, and they also raise public awareness about ongoing issues. Then, by leveraging the social media reports and visual storytelling, they can also mobilize support and encourage community engagement to advocate for change. So that one also you can do. I think, do you all like follow this PARI in Instagram? No, so PARI by this sign up, like you can see that every time they will be like talking about like some human rights issue, like gender or like poverty or like whatever. So they will always like deal with that. So they are like kind of giving everything, like what are the situations that led to them and how they are like tackling what are the challenges. So they used to give those successful case studies and also like this one. So people like who are like tracking those, they will also take account of that one and they will like try to see. So if they see like there are like certain violations, for example, when it comes to like women and labor, right? So in this labor market, like what are the challenges the women face? So they might be seeing like if there are like any news item that has been like reported on it, and in what angle they have reported, they will like try to see. And if they see that okay, there is this maybe like there is no equal pay, right, in the daily wages labor when it comparable to men and women. So if it's like keep on repeating, see the pattern in those like news stories, then they will make it a point. Okay, so this one they will like then make a report based on this gender disparity in wages. Okay, and there can be like many issues, but they will be seeing the pattern, like what is the thing which is there, keep on repeating and which are keep on being like reported in the media. Okay, so that is the thing. And so the types of media sources, like from they are getting the traditional media, like how the newspapers, TV news, which are the primary sources of information. Wherever you go, like any NGOs, okay, it can be like UNICEF or UN organizations or like local NGOs, there will be a library. Okay, so even people who are like doing research about like content analysis and all, you might think like where I will be getting those, documents. It will be there, so you can go there. Even me, when I was doing my research, one of my case study was about this Dalit Panchayat leaders in Tamil Nadu, and how, like particularly Papapati and Kiripati constituencies, it was meant for this Dalit, president, but they were not allowed to like contest, So there was this problem was there in 2000s, okay, in 2004, 5, and all, like there was this issue. So if I am going to a new normal library, I have to search everything, right? Again, like the whole year or like sample, I have to take and I have to read one by one. But what I did is I went to a library by this People's Watch in Madurai. Then there they have this library and they have a file on Papa Patikiri Patikiri. So they have this fully, like they have like paper cuttings from the beginning, like from the issue. It's very easy for me. I just went and then it's by year by they have like arranged and like cutting everything was there. It was so very easy for me to analyze the content, right? Do the content analysis. So we can also, if someone is doing on that, content analysis and all, you can always go to these NGOs because they have this library, media library and all that paper cuttings. And even in these big newspapers, no, they also have this library. So for example, if based on like certain leaders and all, no, they will have their this one. And for like Manipur crisis or like Assam issue, they might have their like own files and they would be like keep the track of like whatever it's worth. So we can like always use that one. That's what like this traditional newspapers, no, like newspapers and television reporting also, it can be like always useful. But I don't think like in India they are like keeping a record of TV news and all. It might be very difficult, I guess. Maybe in the YouTube you can find it, I guess. Otherwise, like I don't know, like whether they have this file, this one and all. It might be like because they can't like store everything, right? It's very difficult. So that is why and the digital and social media. So Twitter and Facebook and blogs, you can always see the blogs by these human rights activists and others also you can see. And then in the Twitter, like now the X and Facebook, you can like use the hashtag and then you can get the all data regarding those particular issue also. Okay, so that is what. For example, you want to do on that particular viral video from Manipur, right? So you can just use the hashtag and then you can take all those comments. Then after that, you can like extract that data and you can do it manually or you can use like any tool and then you can like analyze the data also. Okay, and then this independent and alternative media. So outside of the mainstream, for example, PARI network is one resource. Likewise, there are like so many other issues. For example, this climate change and all, you can always go for like Center for Science and Environment in like Delhi. So they have their like own this one like website and everything. So from there also you can get all the resources. So there are like this independent and alternative media like outside this one. So nowadays like all this online this one what you call magazines also. For example, the Wire, the Scroll, and all they have like it's a very great repository of like all the like any issues like you can go and like take them. Then, but again, when you take the media, this one like sources, you have identified, you have like taken. But what are the challenges in other like identifying this media sources also? Reliability of the sources. As I said that in media, if they have already like misreported, misrepresented that issue, right? Then it's going to be a challenge, right? So you have to see, like you have to see, like what is the motto of this newspaper, in what angle they have like reported. So that one also you have to see the reliability of the sources. And then again bias. As I said that media reporting is also not free from bias. So you have to see that also, like how news is like reported and perceived. If you want to like study about like Manipur issue, if you go and read, from Valley newspapers and the Hill newspapers, there will be huge. Like Valley newspapers will be like totally telling from their perspective, right? And Hill newspapers will be like representing in their own thing. So you have to see a kind of neutral, like kind of national newspaper or something else, like how they have reported both sides and which side like they have like taken. So in that way, you have to like see right which one is biased. And there are in many states, many of the newspapers and this television channels are owned by these political parties, right? And if you know that the owner is this particular party, and then that party is being involved in this violation, then they would have obviously silenced that issue or they have like misrepresented that one. So you have to see those bias also, right? And again, misinformation, that is again another one challenge. In social media also, like when you are like seeing it, you cannot like rely on everything, right? So when you like get certain things, then you have to like again see that one, because many of the times in misinformation what they'll do, there will be somewhere in the world this violation has happened, but they will just show it as happened here, right? Even in Manipur also, like whatever the visuals from Vietnam and then Myanmar, all those visuals has been like used there. So you have to always like fact check again. So that is also one challenge, whether it is true or false. I think you all know like how to do that fact checking, right? You have to better use it in the Google image, then you will find it out, and again you can use those like videos also, and then you can like find that one, like where it's happened, and then you have to look for that one, like who has reported, from where they have reported, the time, the date, right, and then the logo, everything you have to see, right? Then the government censorship. So again, like government may also like restrict access to information and hindering free press. So sometimes like even in social media, like there might be like some handles, it might be blocked, right, by Meta. And again, you cannot like some of the things they must have like uploaded it, but Instagram must have like taken it out saying that citing community standards or something else. So that is also that you may not like it. So that's what like they have to keep track of everything, like every second like matters. They cannot like just this incident happened and after 1 month if they go and see there won't be any also, right? So that is also that. So we have to be like they have to be very conscious about that one. And then propaganda is also there. You know that how media is also has been like used as the tool of propaganda by the governments, right? So and how they are like shaping the public opinion and everything. So that so these are the challenges when you are like identifying these media sources. And then documentation of incidents and cases. So you have like taken. So why we have to do the documentation of those things? It's a historical record, right? Like something like it's already happened and it has been like reported. So it's a kind of history. That's what we say that today's news is tomorrow's history, right? If today it might be news, but tomorrow it might be history only, right? Even you see, like pandemic happened in 2020 and 2021, but it's already been 4 5 years, and it has already been history only. So if you want to go back, and nowadays like so many research are being done also. during this pandemic also you can see how this human rights, like of journalists, how they have like navigated the pandemic, or how this doctors, nurses, everything, like you can go and like see those reports, you can find it out, like what are the things like people face like when this pandemic happened, how they were like helpless, and how it was like very uncertain. All those anxiety you can like see from the media also. Like you see, from in the beginning they said you have to wash your hands, right? People got so obsessed with like washing their hands, they are washing it for like more than. But later on they said there is no point, right? And then they said like mask is very important. I still remember like when I was giving it, I'm not getting any like mask also like everyone. So people started like stitching those, mask, and then they are sending out to their friends and all. So that was there. And again, like the mask business was there. And again, this hand wash, like this sanitizer, like wherever you go. But later on, they said like sanitizer also. So even if you say that how this campaign on this pandemic has been like from the beginning, how they were like, you can see the pattern, like how from the beginning they have like this one. So everything was very good. So likewise, like every issue you can see how they're like reporting was there. So that's what like we say media is like very good for this documentation also. And then first you have to like how to document human rights violations also. You have to gather evidence. First you have to collect videos, photographs, and testimonies to provide substantial evidence of human rights violation. So most of these videos and photographs and all, and even testimonies also, you can see like many people, they usually like put out in their like blog or on their like social media status and everything. So that one also you can collect, right? And the next one is you have to do the verifying information, that is the cross checking. So you have to do the fact verification, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is true or false, all those things, right? And you have to like ensure accuracy and avoid bias in documentation. That is also there. And then you have to do the context analysis of human rights violations, like how it happened and all. So you have to like examine factors leading to human rights violations. So there will be like thorough analysis of the political, economic, and social factors that contribute to human rights violations. So as I said that if it is about a cyber stalking of a woman, right? So you have to like at least find 5 to 10 incidents that has been reported on the media, and then you take. Then you can see there is a common chain that they have all tracked their Facebook and Instagram, post, because we people like we always report, right? I'm here, like I'm with someone, I'm doing it, I'm watching film, like everything we are posting it. So that is also one problem. That's what like they say, if your like page is like kind of public, everyone can access, right? And even your stalker can be your friend also. You don't know. Someone is obsessed with you, you don't know. And he might be in a wrong name also, like like kind of a fake name also, and then you don't know, and they will be like kind of tracking you, like what you are doing and all, right? Because from our Instagram post also they can find something, whether we like coffee or tea, like who are our friends, who are our family members, all those things, right? So that's what. So you can see those patterns, like okay, in this cyber stalking, like mostly these are the things. Like so, then what they can do, they will be like analyzing how this thing happened, right? So where it's happening and how it's happening, all those things like you can see. So what are the political, economic, and social factors that are contributing to the human rights violations? Because you cannot like see because whatever the things are happening, it's not an individual problem. It is a social problem, right? It's a larger social problem. That's what they say. If someone is like what you call robbing or stealing, means it's not his problem, right? It's a kind of larger problem. And again, the suicide also. Suicide also, it's not a like personal problem. It's a kind of social problem. Like lot of this family social pressures that also lead people to do those things and all. So that is also there. So you have to see the larger picture from this. When you are like analyzing the context and the causes of those human rights violations. And then you can also see the victim perpetrator relationship. Like you have to identify the power dynamics. So the influence and control exerted by the perpetrator over the victim. So motive also. And nowadays even this child grooming is also there, right? if someone started talking to a kid online, and they try to manipulate and groom, and then they try to make the child to come out of their home to elope with them, and they try to have what you call exploit them in many ways, right? So that also, we have to see the identifying the power dynamics, like how this perpetrator is approaching the victim, and how they are manipulating, or how they are taking advantage of the victim, right? All those things. And also motive, like what is his motive, like what they are and why, and the pattern of abuse also, like what are how the recurring behaviors and cycles that characterize abusive relationship, right? So that also. And even last year there were many incidents about this boyfriend killing his own girlfriend and keeping it in the refrigerator, right? It was so shocking. And there is not one incident. There were so many incidents, right? So even if you keep track of it, you will be most of them they were in live-in relationship, and they were there for long. But again, why this happened, right? And also the religion, all those things, right? How they are making out. So you can also see the patterns of abuse, how they are kind of abusing, all those things from those case studies also, right? So that case studies, from that they are taking from this media, and from there only they are trying to do it, okay? And the impact assessment of human rights abuses. So measuring impact. So first we have to evaluate the dimensions of impact that affect victims and communities, including mental health, social, societal relationship, and economic stability. So that one also. Like if certain violations happen, means how it's affecting the kid, or how it's affecting the women, or how it's affecting that man, right? For example, it's a bonded labor, right? If someone is being what you call a traffic, saying that we'll be giving you luring the people to get a good job, and with good salary, but later on they might be involved in certain very menial jobs, and also very what you call very hard working thing, but they might be paying them peanuts or something else, right? So that is also good. For example, there is also one issue, no? This many of this youth, they are being lured to this island and other places, citing that we'll be giving you better jobs and all. And after going there, they are being made to involve in this cyber scams. Okay, so these people, they thought that they are going to get a good job and everything, and they are going there. But after going there, they are making them do this cyber scams and everything, and they are making them do those, and they are also kind of captivated, right? They can't leave them and all. Then they actually, even they are rescuing many youth from this Southeast Asian countries also, how they are being trapped. They are also saying how they are trapped in the name of good jobs and good incomes, but again how so those kind of things. So how this kind of things, and how it's impacting the victims and communities. So what are the psychological, for some people who have come out of that one, they'll be in more mental health, they may be more in depression, or this post traumatic trauma will be there, they will be traumatic. So what are the things, and their relationships, and then economic stability also, how it's affecting them, everything. You can see from those context analysis of this media tracking of human rights abuses. And again, the displacement trauma and loss of resources. So the consequences of displacement. For example, if a youth from South India is being kind of taken to Thailand and to be put there, it's a kind of huge displacement, right? And how he has coped with the trauma, and the psychological trauma experienced by the victims, and the depletion of essential resources. They must have lost their job, right? They must be in a normal, steady, decent job, but they have just left this, and then they went and fall into this trap, right? So that is also another one thing. They are losing their job and income, and they are without nothing to do, right? So that is also one issue. In broader social impact, it's not only it's a very independent issues, or some individual issue, but it has a what you call the broader societal impacts. The one is the effect on societal stability. So examines how various factors influence the stability of society and its structures, and effect on peace and effect on development. For example, like this, if there is an ethnic conflict, so this ethnic conflict, how it's like affecting the societal stability and it's like development, right? There won't be like people won't be able to do their jobs, they won't be able to do their farming, right? And most of these cottage industries they can't like function, right? And they cannot like run. So what is the huge impact on the development, right? And then on the peace also, like how it's like affecting the societal peace there. So all these things that we have to see the broader societal impact also. And tracking the outcomes of uh, even like there were this many incidents about this child abuse by what you call the security persons in their like many buildings and all, no? Like this gated communities and all of that. So if there are like certain issues, it's also going to affect all the people who are involved in security, right? If one got involved in that one, it will like kind of create a huge stereotype that all the people are like that, right? So everyone will be coming under that one. So it's also high kind of huge burden for those people who are involved in that one, right? So it's not like going to end up as like one incident, right? It's also kind of huge impact on other people also. That's what you can see. There are like lot of hate things against this migrant workers. For example, in Kerala, there was this one migrant worker. He actually abused a kid, and because of that, like everyone is under scrutiny, right? They were like everyone is seen with that one. But many of the people they are going there without like any jobs, and they want to have proper like decent life. That's what they are like going there, right? They are leaving their place, leaving their village, leaving their like family and friends and everyone, and they are like going there. But again, after going there, also they will be always like seen with this negative thing, no? So negative stereotyping. So that also affects them. So that's what like that one also they will see like how it's like going to affect the larger society and economy and development and everything. Okay. So that is also that. Then after like so first we are like going to first we are like tracking the media. So we are like choosing the media sources and we are tracking the news and information which has been like published or like broadcasted from that. And again from that we are like we are collecting that, we are documenting it, and then we are like analyzing the context and the patterns, right? And then we are seeing like how it's impacting the victim and also the community and also the broader like social context, everything. And after that, they will be like trying to come up with this advocacy effects, like how to like kind of challenge those stereotypes or like how to avoid or like how to prevent this kind of like crimes and all. So that is also there. So here the role of advocacy in human rights, that is also very very important. Advocacy plays a crucial role in promoting and protecting human rights, influencing public perceptions and policies. And again, media exposure significantly drives advocacy efforts by raising awareness and prompting policy changes. Okay, one NGO is being tracking all those things and they are like analyzing that one. And then what they will do is they will like kind of prepare a report, right? And after preparing the report, they will call for a press conference. And then with them, they will share those report findings, right? Then media will be like reporting about that one. Then only people will get to know about it, right? So even the NGOs also nowadays they are very what you call very strong on social media, right? So with their like the people who are involved in it or the leader of that particular human rights group, so they will also like start writing on those things. So that also kind of reach to the larger masses, and then it will also try to change the public perception, right? And then there will be like change in the public policy. Okay, so for that purpose only they are doing this media tracking, mostly for the media advocacy. So how to like create awareness about particular things or how to like prevent those things, all those things. And you can also successful advocacy efforts. You can see that, for example, HIV/AIDS and all. You can see this how this NGO was like working with this like people living with HIV/AIDS and all. They will like keep on sending this one. So it is not a disease which can be like like passed by like touching or kissing or something else. It's like totally different. So you can like eat with them, like sit with them, nothing will happen. So they will be like trying to create awareness about those stigma, right? And then they will be like trying to create awareness about it. So I think we have like come a long way. You see like before 20 years and how it has somehow like kind of like normalized, right? So these are all like kind of like consistent and persistent efforts by these NGOs who are working on this one, right? So likewise, like any other disease and like any other issues also, and then they also like what you call significant change around. And you can say that even this reporting on this caste segregation in the prisons, that's also a very important example of like media advocacy, right? So they were like kind of keep on reporting, and based on that, this Rajasthan High Court take it as a suo moto, and then they have like changed their decision. So that is the best example of like media advocacy, right? So how a media report can have a stronger impact on like any public policies and laws and reforms also. That's